Hello and welcome to this seminar, Microsoft Hints and Tips, sponsored by C5 Alliance, hosted by me, Andy Jarrett, and delivered by Alex Morel from our training arm, ALX. C5 is a gold partner across 9 competencies, including collaboration and cloud, application development, data and analytics, with silver competencies in a further 5 areas, putting us in the top 1% of UK partners. Over the past year, many businesses have adopted Microsoft 365, and one thing that we've seen time and time again is that they've not taken a structured and tailored implementation approach, often because of necessity in the wake of COVID-19. The result is that business users have several ways of communicating and collaborating without regard for best practice or a way of working tailored to their particular environment. With the ever-increasing Microsoft 365 feature set, this means that there are multiple ways to store, search and share, which is fantastic until you need to find that file that was shared with you last week on email. Or was it on Teams? Or was it in a Teams channel or in a Teams meeting? Where do you even start to find that now urgent document? Well, today we hope to make your life easier with some tools that you didn't know you had and ways of locating things you'd forgotten where you'd stored. And on the subject of making your life easier, C5 has the only direct licensing relationship with Microsoft in the Channel Islands. We provide licensing for Microsoft 365, Dynamics and Azure, and our clients gain a range of benefits from buying their licensing directly from us, such as often if you've purchased directly from Microsoft, you're paying on a credit card, whereas we'll invoice you monthly in arrears for the licensing or consumption that you've used, and we find we're usually more cost effective. If you're using a UK provider, we've seen them fold VAT into their pricing. We saved a Guernsey client a significant sum on that just recently. Furthermore, when we onboard clients, we review their licensing and their consumption and often find ways to help optimize their estate and save money. We'll help you get the most out of your applications by explaining how things like Secure Score can help your cyber posture, or Compliance Manager can help with controls and audits. First line support is delivered by C5, who understand your business, and not a Microsoft call centre where you're just one of thousands of customers. C5 pays for advanced partner support, meaning that if you have a problem that requires us to escalate to Microsoft, you gain advantage of our priority queue. Migration to using C5 as your licensing partner is quick and easy. And as a special promotion to anybody that migrates their licensing as a result of attending this seminar, you're eligible for some additional free training from ALX. So if you're thinking about a move to Microsoft 365 or Azure, or you're already there and want to see if we can help save you some money and increase the service, we'd be delighted to explore how we can help. Do send an email to inquiries@C5 Alliance or drop us a line and then mention that you heard about the free training on this call, and one of our licensing experts will call you back and discuss how we might be able to help you. But now I'm going to hand over to Alex, who's going to take you through the hints and tips. You're able to post questions as we go, so do look out for the 2 speech bubbles at the top to access the Q&A, and we'll review them at the end. That's enough from me. Over to you, Alex.
Hi everyone, I think there might be a small technical issue at my end, so apologies if there's a huge delay, but hopefully we'll get through this. So thank you so much, Andy, for that. And good morning, everybody. I hope you're all well. And as Andy said, that yes, we all waste a lot of time trying to find information and files, and it can be an incredibly frustrating exercise. So in this session, what I want to do is show you some practical tips and tricks of how we can find whatever I thought afraid there is a huge delay and I'm unable to deliver the rest of the session, which is so frustrating because I've got some fantastic tips and tricks for everybody. But I've got a double delay, and unfortunately I'm still hearing Andy Jarrett, as much as I love your dulcet tones, going on in the background. So if there's something that Courtney you could do at the back end, otherwise we might want to just reschedule this for 5 minutes and join back on again. I'm aware there might be a delay in here.
Hi Alex, do you just want to sign off and join back in and see if that helps?
Really sorry about this, guys. It worked absolutely fine when we were practicing just yesterday and this morning. So I don't know why that's happened. Hopefully Alex will sign out and sign back in again, and she'll be able to deliver the hints and tips. If you want to go into the speech bubbles though and start to drop some questions in, use the time for that. It looks like Alex is coming back. Hello.
Oh, I'm so happy. Okay, I'm here, everybody. So let me just share this screen one more time and we will get going. So, okay, sorry about that. There we go. Right, hopefully you can all see my screen, and I'm going to jump straight into these practical tips and tricks that I really hope are going to help everybody. So the first things we're going to look at is we're going to use Outlook to search for messages and attachments. Then we're going to go into Teams and show you some tricks on how to search and filter your Teams better. Then we'll go into the backstage view, and to you and I, that is just the file menu of applications, because you can also use that as a starting point for searching. Then we'll go into OneDrive, which is, as you probably know, your private storage area, and we can use that for searching our own documents, but also we can expand that out and look across documents for the whole organization. And then finally, we're going to go into Windows 10, where we can search for, again, we could use that as a way of searching for documents and emails. So that's the plan. So starting off with our mailbox, let's go into this and show you how you can find and refine your search tips. So here we go, into my mailbox. It was all beautifully set up just 2 seconds ago. There we go. But that's IT, as we know. So up here, there's a search tool. Now, when you first go into there, this menu is going to drop down. I recommend you sidestep to the side and then use these tools underneath to search for something. If I wanted to look for an email from Mark Jones and I just typed into the search box Mark Jones, I'm going to get loads of results where it's talking about Mark or Jones, and it might just be talking about Mark Jones, but not those emails from him. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to click on the from. It automatically brings in the query set from and then speech marks, and I can just type Mark Jones in here, enter, and look how now it's searching for things from Mark Jones. I can refine it further by saying has attachments. There we go, and now it's just brought up that one result that I was looking for, rather than just scrolling through lots and lots of hits where it's anything including the word Mark Jones. I do like that and use it a lot. If I was in my sent items, it would be the same thing. So I would go into my sent items first of all, and then go into the search box, step to the side, and in here it will say when it's who it's searching to, rather than here where it's saying who it's searching from. And you can experiment with all of these different filters so you can refine what you're actually looking for. Okay. Now, the next item I'd like to draw your attention to is how we can search for different teams and channels. Some of you might have a lot of teams in the workplace, and some of you might have a few teams, but lots and lots of channels, and you're forever trying to find the relevant team or channel. So what I would do here, back again, give me, I'm in the right place again. Okay, so it doesn't look like it, but just at the top left here, there is a small three little, it's like a triangle with 3 little lines. This is actually a filter. So click on that, turns it into a filter. And then if I typed in BDO, it's going to look for anything with the word BDO. That could be a team, it could be a channel, it could be one of your hidden teams or hidden channels. And let me do that again. If I look for Excel, something that we teach a lot, it searches through all of them. And I've got lots of teams and lots of channels. And I find this is the quickest way to move around. Okay. We can also search by people. So the top bar here will allow you to search for somebody, and we can find some extra information about them. So let's do that. I'm going to go up into my search bar at the very top. Just up there. Apologies for today. And then I'm going to type Jamie Oliver. You might not have realised it, but Jamie Oliver is one of our colleagues. And I'm going to hover on him. It comes up really quickly, but then when I search on him, there's some other bits I can do as well. So when this loads, I'll be able to see the organisation chart, which is always live, by going along the tabs at the top here. Click on organisation, and I can see how he fits into the who his line manager is, and all of these contact cards have information on, such as people's telephone numbers, people's job titles, and are they in teams? When was the last time they were active? Are they away on holiday? So you can find all this information out by just using the search bar to look for somebody. It also shows you any activity you might have. So if you're trying to look for something and you're like, oh, I'm sure they sent me a message or they wrote in a post or a channel, you can click on activity and it will show all the interactions that you two have shared, whether it's in a chat or whether it's in a post or a channel. Okay, nice, simple one to get you started. But the things that you probably are wanting to do is searching for your chat messages. It can be quite difficult to go through a long chain, especially if you've been in the same chat for a long time. These are chats that might be living within your meeting or within just a one-to-one individual, or maybe even a group. So back into our search, and I'm just going to type in up here holidays. Okay. Press enter. Nothing appears here. I used to find this quite frustrating, but apparently I've been reading this is going to change and your search messages are going to appear on the right. But right now we have to go to the left and we get every single message where the word holiday appears. But this is including all the channel posts as well. So I just want to know chat. So into type, and I'm going to go to chat. Here we go. So now I can see all of the different chat messages where the word holiday has appeared. So that's searching for chat messages. You know, there is, I could have said I wanted to just look at posts in a channel, but often what I want to do is I want to look for a document. So I'm going to use the same search bar along the top. Let's type in template. Oh, you have to spell it correctly. Type in template. Do you see that? First of all, it comes up as like a live search, a bit like how things do in Google now. So it will just look for, oh, there was a chat where you talked about a template. There's a channel called template. You've got some files. There might even be some apps, but I want to find everything, including messages. So I'm going to press enter. Switch to the left. And if it is just a document I'm looking for, I'm going to go to the Files tab along the top here. And again, too many results. And that's because we've been using Teams now for 3.5 years. So we do have a lot of content in here. So I'm going to go to the filter and say, actually, I know it needs to be in the ALX team. And I'm looking for a Word document. Filter. That's much easier to navigate without just long lists. And also, if you think about searching the same way that you search for things on the internet, you don't need to know where everything is all the time, especially by something that's been saved by somebody else. You can use the search and refine it down to get you the information that you need as quick as possible. But sometimes you do know where you need to be. So I'm just going to go into Teams again. I'm going to go into a channel called a Christmas Party that is inside our social committee. And I might have a lot of documents in here. So, or a lot of posts in here. So what I can do this time is when I'm in this space, in this channel, I'm going to press Control F. Come on. There we go. So I'm going to press Control F. Here it comes. I have to show you on my PowerPoint presentation. Ah, it's just a bit slow today. Okay. So there's our filter. So if I want to search the current location, I'm going to press Control F like it is, and it will bring up a shortcut called Find, and then you can search just that area that you're looking at. So this happens to be in a channel called BDO Financials, and I was looking for P&L, so it would do that. So you just press Control F and it will look in that channel where you are. Let me just see if I can have one more go at it. Control F. And it's just a bit too slow. But when there weren't so many people online, it was relatively easy to do. Okay. You'll just have to take my word for it. So we've got some other keywords that we can use. And if you are familiar with searching in Google or maybe some other databases that you've got, you can do the similar sort of idea in Teams. So I could type in that search bar from, type someone's name, and it will come up with any message from that person. Or I could do a subject, colon. Now there's no spaces after the colon and before the keyword. I can type the keyword in, and again, it will search for any posts or messages with the subject that matches that criteria. And then finally, I can do send. So let's see if this is going to work. So into my search bar, come alive. Here we go. It's just, and I'm going to type in from colon, no space. And I'm going to put in Jamie, enter. Here we go, looking on the left. This is every single message that Jamie has sent that I have got permission to see. The other one I could do, as we saw there, is subject, colon, let's look for bikes. Maybe there was a post. There's always a post about bikes. There we go. And it just it's just something that was put in a note to all. Now I could even change that to COVID. Let's have a subject COVID. Show me all of the messages where the subject's been COVID. And here they are. Great. And then finally, if I want to find all the messages that were sent, and I got permission to see on the 8th of the 5th, 2021. There we go. So there we go. It's just fire alarms and people off to go and see the sunshine. Great. Again, if you're used to other types of search in other systems, you can still do the speech marks, which is what we saw when we were doing the Outlook search, actually. Putting speech marks around a phrase means look for that exact phrase. Without the speech marks, if we looked for IT training, it would look for anything including IT and anything including training. But by putting speech marks around IT training, it wants you to find that exact phrase. And it's the same with T. Let's take a look. So I'm going to go into my search bar along the top. I'm going to type in T. Press enter. You can imagine a lot of results are going to come up for me about Teams. Teams meetings, Teams chat, Teams live events. But if I put speech marks around T, this is really what I'm interested in. It's now hopefully going to come up with just T. And you'll see that we talk about T quite a lot at ALX. We've always got one on the go. Okay, so that's our few bits here. The last one I want to show you though is to find your recent documents. So if you're working on something and then you want to get back to it, you don't have to navigate the long way to get back to that document you were working on yesterday. You could do / up here, files, and it will come up with all the recent documents you've been working on. So I'll just show you on my slide so we can look at it a bit more detail. So / in this search bar, because this search bar doubles as a command bar. And in fact, there's lots of commands you can do starting with a /. So / files, and it will come up with your recent files, and you can just open them right from there without having to go, as I said, the long way around. And then the last thing in Teams I want to show you before we move on to some applications is how to filter your activity feed. So, oops. So the activity feed is that bell which tells you all the new features, new information that comes up. So you can click on the activity bell. There is this icon again. It's the 3 lines. That means it's a filter, and you'll be able to have sort that activity feed for different reasons. I think particularly this comes in handy when you've been on holiday. So although you might not have been on holiday recently, when you do get to go on holiday and you come back, you'll be able to search for all of that activity quite quickly. Let me show you. So into my activity. Here we go. And into the 3 little dots. It's going to turn into, sorry, 3 little lines. It's going to turn into 3 little dots. I'm going to click on this one more time, and there is my option, so I can see everything I've misread, unread, everything maybe where people have applied, and various bits and pieces. This just coming up here, this is a new feature by Microsoft which is called Insights, and it's about bringing well-being into Teams. And if you want to know more about Microsoft Viva, we can certainly take you through that as well. So I'm going to go to our applications now. What you might not be aware of is you can search for the content that's stored in your Teams from Word or PowerPoint or Excel or whatever the application that you use the most. So I've jumped into Word and gone as a brand new Word document. It takes you to the home page. This whole area is called Backstage, and I've just typed in upgrade. It will automatically then bring up recent documents that I've opened with the word upgrade. I don't have to navigate from this point. I could just search. Show you. Okay, so here I am. I'm in Word. I'm just going to type in upgrade, and then it comes up just like this. And then I could just open it up from this point. Yeah. And it's a good idea that once you do open something regularly, that you pin them, because that's another way of making something quick and easy to access. If I was in PowerPoint, it's a similar thing. So here's PowerPoint. And if I go into File, I was already in a presentation. Let's get File and go Open. But even before I get to Open, I've got a search bar. You just see these search bars in all sorts of places. Open, there's another search bar. I could type in formulas, the lesson we teach. There we go. It wasn't on the list. I didn't need to look for it. I just typed in, I know it's a formulas lesson that I regularly teach, and then up it comes. So I hope you find those useful, and but do keep your eye out for the search, and it's always evolving. This is where Microsoft's putting a lot of money and a lot of attention into, and you can even see that they've changed the help bar inside PowerPoint or Excel Word, and it's become a search bar. So I've clicked into it. It automatically suggests some things I might want to do and some people that I collaborate with. And if I type in joining, I want to get some joining instructions. Even though joining instructions is a Word document, I can open it from within PowerPoint. You know, who would have thought that? So it's about, let's search for all of your content, everything you've got permission to see from any starting point. Okay, so, but if I did want to find a PowerPoint presentation, it's the same thing. So I just typed in data, it's come up with tools, it's come up with help, and then it's come up with a couple of files. I could go more search results, and that's going to open up the search even further. Right, so just a couple more, and then I'll hand you back to Andy. So I'd like to show you your private files. Now I do actually, now they're stored in OneDrive, but I find the easiest way to access them is through my Teams. You can access OneDrive in lots of different ways, but I'm going to go down to the bottom on the left-hand side where it says Files. You can see this section here. This is again where you can see your recent list. So if you didn't know where that recent list came from when you went /files, it's there. But if I click to OneDrive, these are my private files. You're very privileged me letting you have a look into my little world here, but these are my private files. very important things like Christmas party presentations and Christmas party songs live in here. So it's the sort of area where you have things that are private to you, and you can see this is a private storage area. If I want to search though, I would open in OneDrive, because when I click in this search bar at the top, it's going to search in Teams, but I just want to search in my private area, or maybe even open it up. So I'm going to go open in OneDrive, and it's going to open up, there we go, into this section here. So this is exactly what you just saw, but it's just opened out into the browser now. And then I could do a search. So if I was looking for something, let's say I'm looking for Excel, it will bring everything up. It will look in all files, or I could say, just show me my files, or let's see everything in the whole organization. That would include SharePoint news, that would include pages, people, any sort of content that you have in your organization. But if I just say all files, press enter, it's going to do a search like this. It's just recently changed actually. So if you've not been in here for a while, do a search, because this is a little bit different to how you've had it in the past. It's coming up with all the files where it's got the word Excel in. And on the right hand side, I can change that look. I've got it on compact list so I can see more, but I could put it in tiles, and there's the filter. Again, what exactly are you looking for? I'm looking for a presentation. When did you last modify it? So you can click on that, or maybe I was looking for an Excel document with the word Excel in it. So so the theory is you do a search that's a wide search, and then you filter it down. And then lastly, I just want to whiz back to our presentation. This copy can be made available for you if you want to have it. Do let us know in the chat or the question answer, and we can get a copy of this to you. But this has got everything that we've just covered, but I want to show you the Windows 10. It's difficult for me to show you on this presentation at the moment. So you would open up the Windows Start menu just like normal, and you can type a document here. So I'm just going to say type in upgrade, and it's going to come up with everything where I've got the word upgrade in. And along the top, first of all, it will come onto the all section, but you can just switch and filter it down so you're looking at just documents. So don't forget about this. It does come up with the ones that you most recently used. So if you've never accessed it before, you'll probably find it doesn't surface. But if it's something that you're always opening, then this is a great way of opening it if you're not already in Teams. Okay. And then the last one I want to show you, which is relatively new, is using Microsoft Edge. So Edge had a bad reputation. I'm sure you all know, it was a period of time when it was not popular, but they've changed it. It's now using Chrome, so Chromium engine in the background, so it works just as well. But you can sign in using your Microsoft 365 credentials. So if I was to just flick back, so signed into this with my credentials, it will show you your recommended files, things that you've recently been working on. And if I do a search in here, it will also, let me just type in Excel, as that's what we were just typing. It will search all of Excel, like on the internet, just like normal. These are not my files, but there's a new one here. See, there says work. And this is just looking inside my work files. It's only showing you things that you've got permission to see. And but this is everything from within my SharePoint or within my Microsoft Teams coming in here. So if you are already in your browser and you're working a lot in browser, then it's quite a nice switch just to use this as your search tool. There we go. So that's all the kind of tips and tricks I wanted to show you, and I'm really pleased I have been able to do that, and apologies for that technical issue at the beginning, but that's the realities of technology, I suppose. No matter how much you practice and do things, it can always come and slightly trip you up, but it is a fantastic tool. So I'm going to hand you back to Andy, who's just going to wrap things up. But if you would like a copy of this presentation, please don't hesitate to get in touch and let us know, and we'll be more than happy to share it with you. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
That was great.
That was great.
Oh, I think you need
I
to
think you
mute.
need to mute.
So once we got going anyway, I think that was really useful. Reminds me of that TV show, It'll Be All Right on the Night, but I'm probably showing my age there to some of the people in the audience, probably wondering what on earth I'm talking about. Anyway, I hope that everybody picked up something useful. I certainly didn't realise I can get to my OneDrive via Teams. That was news to me. We've posted a feedback form, or we're about to, in the Q&A. We really appreciate you filling that in. And as a thank you for doing that, we're going to send you our hints and tips ebook. So you'll get that if you fill that in for us. So thank you. So taking a quick look now at the questions, Alex Scott's asked, how do you set up the org chart? Is that an admin task or is that something that the users can set up?
No, that's something that's done by the admin. So when you have a new starter join, one of the things you want to fill out is in Azure is who is their line manager. So it will be populated from that. So in Azure, where your directory of people lives, it will have people's names, their job title, their telephone number, and also their line manager. So if you need to keep it up to date, you need to make sure that line manager field is populated when people leave and people join, or when people are moving around the organization, and then it will automatically populate.
Cool, thank you. Oh, here's a tricky one. I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyway. Can I search for files in a channel?
Not yet. So no, it is a bit frustrating. So as you saw, you can search for posts in a channel. You can do that Control F and search for just the post, but it won't allow you to search for the files. It's up there on user voice, which is where people suggest things to Microsoft. I've voted for it a couple of times myself, but it's not ready yet.
Yeah, me too. That'd be like super useful. And it's not really a question, but it's from David. That was really useful, Alex. Thank you. So thanks for that comment, David. If there's any more questions, please do type them quickly. But I'm not seeing any more come through. So as I said right at the beginning, our licensing team will be delighted to help you with any Microsoft 365 licensing questions, or queries that you might have, or how do I get the most out of what I've bought. So please do not hesitate to call us or drop us an email into inquiries@C5 Alliance. I think all really that remains now is for me to thank you for attending. Our next session, which hopefully Gremlins willing, will be slightly more smooth. It's focused on getting the most out of Teams. It's the same time, same place next week. Thank you very, very much indeed for your time. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.